Hey team, and welcome back to my channel. So today we embark on a brand new adventure together, and that adventure is Motivational Monday! What? It's new. I have started to do and implement a couple of things in my life lately, and I think that they would actually be inspiring for other people and useful for other people. So I started to kind of write down this list of stuff that I'm doing. I was like, I'll just make a quick video about, hey, here's some things I'm doing, it might be cool. And then I found that there were too many things, and it would actually end up being way more than one video. So, Motivational Mondays. In this series, I am going to take you through a bunch of stuff that was really motivational for me. It might be things that I'm implementing in my life, it might be some things that I just want to talk about, and things that I might find useful, or other things that I'm doing that I think might inspire you. And particularly stuff that I think inspires really positive change in our lives. So, without further ado, let's get stepping on to this first one. Okie dokie artichokes, the first thing that I want you to talk about in our very first video is a thought audit. So, what is a thought audit? Around you constantly is different kinds of messaging and information, from what we watch on TV, to who we pass on the street, to our social media, to our friends. We are continuing to absorb all of this information. Some of it is passive and some of it is active, but nonetheless, it all is affecting the way that we think, the way that we process, and the way that we see the world. So, let's make it only messaging that we want to receive, or that we want to focus on. As someone super amazing once said, try to live your life intentionally. This very first video in our Motivational Mondays, not the first thought audit that we're going to attack, but is based around social media. Dun dun dun! First of all, take stock of which social media accounts you use. So I only really use 3 different platforms. I use Facebook, I use Instagram, and I use YouTube, obviously. Sorry for people who use Twitter, are tweeters, Twitterers, or Snapchatters. Though I don't use those accounts and have no concept of their core functionality or use in my life, if you do, all of this stuff that we're talking through today can be applied to those social media platforms. So today we are going to be using Instagram as our example to construct a thought audit around your social media. But of course, you can apply all of these steps to any of them. Step 1 is identifying what you actually use each social media platform for. For example, I use Instagram for inspiration. I use Facebook to keep in touch with friends, and I use YouTube as a way to learn new things, and also on occasion to distract me and zone out from a bunch of things. All of these platforms for me serve a very different function, so I should make sure doing the function that I want them to do. I use Instagram for inspiration. The first thing I need to do is figure out, is it actually inspiring me? And, unfortunately, the answer was no. Previously, I followed a lot of circus performers, I followed a lot of makeup artists and brands, and I followed friends, and that was kind of it. But I discovered that almost none of those inspired me. Not in the way you'd think. Sure, they made me smile, or they made me go, huh, wow, that's a cool trick. But it didn't actually inspire me to go out and create something, go out and build something, go out and train. Pictures of makeup or makeup tutorials or eyeshadow palettes or eyeshadow looks didn't make me want to put on makeup. Kind of just made me want to buy a bunch of stuff I didn't need. It didn't line up with my values, it didn't inspire me, so why was it still there? Which leads me to step 2. If they're not fulfilling the function you actually want it to, get it out of your life. It's just cluttering up space that you could be using for something else and something useful. So I went from about following 1,300 accounts to 500 overnight. And I still kind of went through, and I'm still going through and culling more now. Not to say that you need to do it that dramatically. Of course, you can take a step-by-step process and whatever you feel comfortable with. But it was kind of liberating and a little bit fun. There will be some that will be so easy that will just be kind of like, ugh, why am I still following that? I didn't even know I was following that. Delete. And others you'll have to sit down and really think about, does this fit my intention for this account? I think we should all try and be a little bit more like Marie Kondo in these moments and take stock of, does this account spark joy? Or in my case, does it spark inspiration? In your case, does it spark that thing that you said way back at the start that you wanted your account to do? So now you should be in a magical land of, I am following way less accounts and it's amazing. But we are not done. Step 3 is adding accounts that do line up. In order to do this step, it also helps to redo your thinking audit. So for me, it was, what does inspire me to get up and do things? What does actually make me go, oh, I could create today? Or I feel so energized about doing something. What is the thing that actually gets me to that? In interrogating my thinking around Instagram, I actually discovered that in order to inspire me, things actually needed to link up with what I value and not what I do. So I managed, through a long process of thinking about thinking, to find that I am inspired by 2 main values. The first is creativity, and the second is caring. What I ended up adding back onto my platform were accounts of artists, and not the ones you'd first think. I didn't add circus artists, or not a lot of circus artists, and I'm yet to find ones that might fit this criteria. But I added a lot of visual artists. I added these because when they pop up in my feed, and I was very specific in particular about which ones I would add, I needed to find ones that would make me think in a new way. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that movement amazing? Isn't that shape of that line interesting? That inspires me to train or to get out and create circus more than seeing a circus performer do a new trick does. I also added a lot of inspirational accounts. These are accounts that line up with stuff I care about. So for me, these are accounts which celebrate women, which celebrate Aboriginal people, and which celebrate the environment. These are things that are very close to my heart, and these are things that actually make me proud and invested in who I am as a person, who make me strong, and who make me want to go and learn. So now I am up to about 750 accounts, still down by about half, but my feed is now full of positive messaging, and really importantly, messaging that aligns with who I am, what I believe, and what I want my account to make me feel and get me to do. I also really quickly just wanted to add an additional step. Don't stop this process. At any point, you can loop back to the start and you can go through again if you feel that your social media platform isn't actually following what you wanted it to do, or your intention for that account might change. And then you can go through this process again. Also, I recommend anytime someone pops up in your feed, have that little thought audit and kind of go, oh, is that fitting in line with what I want it to? If it's not, keep culling. So now we have done one platform together. Aww. So now go out there and take care of yours. This might mean unfriending people on Facebook or just unfollowing them so their information doesn't pop up in your feed. It also might mean going through some of these uncomfortable moments. It might mean culling some accounts that you follow on YouTube and are subscribed to. And if my account is one of them, in my heart, I will understand. But I hope it doesn't. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on our first Motivational Monday. I'm sure it won't be the last. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for hanging out. Bye!